Hey everyone, Tracy Barkley here, Keto Comet, coming at you with another video, and I bet you're wondering why isn't she showing her face? Well, number one, my hair kind of looks like a hot mess, but that's not unusual from any other day. And also, I wanted you to actually be able to read this article. I think sometimes my big schnoz up there kind of blocks you from reading some of the stuff, so this one I really wanted you to be able to see the article we're going to talk about, because we're going to talk about 10 signs and symptoms that you're in ketosis, and then we're also going to talk about 3 or 4 ways you can tell that you're fully fat adapted. And once we get to that part, I'll kind of tell you what the difference is. But let's get going. 10 signs and symptoms that you're in ketosis. You have been on a keto or low carb diet, you've depleted your glycogen stores in both your liver and your muscles, and you are starting to switch over to burning purely fat. Let's take a look. Bad breath, or what I like to call ketone breath. Now, it's not really a foul odor, it's just kind of a metallic, sweet smelling odor, but it's different. It's different than what most people are used to, so they consider it a kind of a bad breath. It's also kind of gives you kind of a metallic taste in your mouth, which isn't pleasant, I'll be the first to admit. And so you need to keep sugar-free mints, brush your teeth a little more often, gargle. But what that is when your fat stores are broke down, when either your fat stores or the fat you eat is broken down into energy, it's broken down into things called ketones. And when you first get into ketosis, you are not the most efficient at burning ketones because you've been burning sugar or glucose all this time. So your body kind of has to learn. It will make way more ketones than it needs, and then kind of flush them out either through your breath, which is kind of an odor that comes off that process, or you will get rid of them in your urine. So that's the reason that you sometimes score real high on ketone strips when you're first in ketosis. But you will get that odor, and it's very simple. Also, drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated will help combat this. So let's look at number 2. Well, duh, Healthline. Yeah, weight loss is definitely a sign that you're in ketosis. When you start losing pounds and inches, when you first get on a ketogenic diet, you will all of a sudden have a whoosh of weight loss, and that's simply your glycogen stores being depleted. The glycogen itself does have a weight to it, and then you also, for every 1 gram of glycogen you store 2 grams of water. So when all that comes out of you, no glycogen stores, no stored water, I mean, not that what your body doesn't need to normally function, you lose all that, so you do have a whoosh of weight loss. But beyond that, when your body's burning fuel, fat for fuel, after it gets through burning what you've eaten, which is very easy for it to do, it will tap into your fat stores. And we all know the ketogenic diet is very satiating, so you're not going to be eating a whole lot. Most likely you're going to be eating under your caloric requirements, and so your weight's going to start coming off. Now, people that are on just a normal county-calorie diet, they do also go into ketosis. I mean, that's how fat leaves your body. So when anyone tells you that ketosis is bad, well, then ask them, how do any diets work? Because to get rid of the fat, you have to burn ketones. So anyone, even when I was a vegan, when I was losing weight, starving myself on a vegan diet, I would do the ketone strips. I was in ketosis. I was in mad ketosis as a vegan. I was just doing it the hard way. Instead of eating fat and protein and being satiated, I was eating a lot of carbs, having blood sugar spikes, making it a lot harder. But all in all, I was eating far less calories than I should have been, and I was losing weight because my body had switched into ketosis, because that's what your body does. It's not dangerous. So yes, weight loss is a sign that you're in ketosis. Increased ketones in the blood. Yes, when ketones are present, your body is in ketosis. So if ketone meter and you measure it, yes, you should be somewhere between 0.5 to 3 mmols per liter of blood. That is a good indication that you're in ketosis. So yes, that will happen. And this is different. The blood measurement is a whole lot more accurate than the urine strips, because urine strips are simply measuring the amount of wasted ketones, the ketones that are sent out through the waste system that you're not burning because your body has not yet become fully efficient at it. So this is a much better indicator because this is what your body's actually using at the time. It's also far better than the breath meter that you can use to measure the waste products that are coming off the breath from the process. So just remember that anything coming out of your body is leaving your body, and it's something your body's not using. The stuff that's still in your body is what you're burning. So that's a much better indicator. Fourth way, what we just talked about, increased ketones in the breath or urine. You'll either get the ketosis breath, or you'll have the breath meter that registers, as well as the urine strips, and your urine will sometimes have a very concentrated odor from the concentration of ketones. All of this can be combated by brushing your teeth, gargling, mints, and drinking a lot of water. You know, I did a video on what keto crotch, quote unquote. I believe first of all, it's just a total fake problem, but anybody that's having any issue with odor down there as a result of the ketogenic or a low-carb diet is probably just having concentrations of ketones in their urine. So that can be combated by drinking more water. Just remember that. And also that will get less as your body becomes more efficient at burning ketones and less of them are passed out as waste. The same goes for the breath issues. The fifth sign is that you're just not hungry. And this is a good one. This kind of naturally suppresses. You're full, you're satiated, your body has an endless supply of energy from the fat on your body, and you're just not hungry. That's the reason on a high-carb diet you're constantly searching for something to eat, because once that sugar hits your blood, the insulin is released to get it out of your body because it is dangerous. It's a dangerous situation to have high blood sugar, and it pushes it into your fat cells and you gain weight. And then you're hungry again because your body didn't get the nutrients and satiation that it was looking for. But not the case on the ketogenic diet, because between the fat and the protein, you are very well satisfied. Increased focus and energy. Yes, the carb fog lifts off your mind. You have endless energy. You may even have trouble sleeping at night for the first few days because you are so energetic. I had that issue. I was very mentally focused, did much better at my day job and on stage as a comedian, but sometimes I couldn't sleep. I would literally be laying there kind of doing, not the full body shakes as in something was wrong, but just jittery because I wanted to get up and do something because I had so much energy. But that will eventually, once your body learns to regulate, will become less of a problem. But you will notice increased energy, perhaps some trouble sleeping, and less brain fog. Short-term fatigue. When you are first converting from burning sugar into ketosis, you will hit the wall. You've heard of, athletes running out of glucose and hitting the wall, just dropping. That's kind of what you're going into, though on a much slower, less dramatic scale. Once all your glucose is gone, your body takes some time to tap into your fat stores and start efficiently using them. Remember, when it first switches, it's breaking down the fat, but it may not be using all of the energy efficiently, as why it comes off your breath, out from your urine, all that good stuff. So give it about a week to 30 days and you'll start seeing this disappear. This is what we know as the keto flu. And there are ways to get around that. You can drink a lot more water, make sure you're taking some sodium and some mineral supplements, sugar-free energy drinks, anything that will help you balance those electrolytes because you're losing a lot of water because you're no longer storing glucose. So remember, that can happen, but it is a temporary situation. And along with that is a short-term decrease in performance. You're kind of feeling run down because you're making the transition. You're going to be less productive. I mean, that's just common sense. But again, a very short-term situation. There are many endurance athletes, long-distance runners that run on a fat-fueled diet and have no problem now that they have learned to efficiently utilize ketones. Digestive issues. Contrary to popular belief, digesting meat, fat, and protein is very easy and simple for the body. It's just a very simple to break those down. When you get into things like high carb, especially things with a lot of fiber, that's where your digestive issues come in. I mean, you've been eating a high carb diet probably with quite a bit of fiber, probably something like 20 to 50 grams a day. That takes a lot of energy out of your digestive system. And it's geared to digest that much stuff. But when you switch, you're going to go through a reset period where your body may be producing the acid that it needed to break that stuff down, but you don't need it because you're eating protein and fat. So you may have a little bit of GERD, a little bit of gas, a little bit of trouble just for, a couple of weeks, maybe 30 days, but it will go away. I have irritable bowel syndrome. Because I don't have a gallbladder, and I have GERD. But since I've been on a ketogenic diet, those problems have been cut in half. Whereas when I was on standard American diet, and even as a vegan and a vegetarian, I was taking Prilosec every day plus eating Tums to keep that at bay. So much better position than I was in before. And just as I said before, insomnia. You have a lot of energy. Your body doesn't know quite what to do with it. So yes, you may have a few sleepless nights in the beginning, but that will pass just because you have more energy. The fact that now your digestive system is learning that it doesn't have to work as hard to digest the foods you eat, that saves a lot of energy. So all that energy goes back into you instead of, running your heart and your brain and your muscles and everything, instead of breaking down carbs and fiber. Or trying to break down fiber. So you have all that energy, it just surges into you, and your body will learn how to regulate that. Now, these are the 10 ways you can tell that you're in ketosis. Ketosis simply means you're burning fat, changing it into ketones, and burning it for energy. Now, how do you tell when you become fully fat adapted? That is, when you're running on in the most efficient way that you can. Well, if you look at this list, it's when a lot of these that I just talked about that are temporary situations go away. And when you're no longer an insomniac, when your digestion is fully regulated, when you have no brain fog, when you're back up to peak performance if you're an athlete, all of this is signs that your body has become efficient now, fully fat adapted in using ketones for energy. And probably the number one most telltale sign is when the ketosis, or the level of ketones measured by either a breath meter or urine strips, drops significantly. Remember, in the beginning, your body doesn't know how to use all the ketones. It can't efficiently use them. It's making too many, so all those have to go out, either through the breath or the urine. So in the beginning, you're going to have mad ketones. I mean, that strip may turn black. But as you get more and more fat adapted, that's going to go back to a more light purple, light brown, and you may think, gee, I'm out of ketosis. No, what that means is that you are fully adapted. Your body is very efficient. It's no longer making a surplus of ketones, and it's doing its job, and you're in peak shape for performance. All right, guys, that's kind of a simplistic view of how to tell when you're in ketosis, number one, and then when you're fully fat adapted. I hope this helps. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give me a like, comment, subscribe, share me. I really appreciate everything, all the new subscribers. You guys have been wonderful. And thank you so much, and I'll see you next video. Tracy Barkley, Keto Comic, out.